Hi, everybody. This is Sarah and Brenda with the Wisconsin Telecommunicator Emergency Response Task Force. We both dispatch for Oak Creek and St. Francis Combined Dispatch Center in Southeast Wisconsin, soon to be merging with South Milwaukee as well. I'm Sarah. I've been a third shift dispatch supervisor here. I've been dispatching here for the past 15 years, supervising for 10 years. I joined WI-TERT in 2010, became a Southeast Regional Coordinator in 2015, and stepped into the role of State Coordinator in 2021.
And I'm Brenda. I'm the second shift dispatch supervisor. I've been dispatching for 23 years. I've been a supervisor for 2, TERT Southeast Coordinator for 2, and I believe I was a TERT member for the last 5.
We're going to be periodically sharing some brief training topics and some tips and tricks that we've picked up over the years. If there's anything that you would like to share or see covered, please reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We can be contacted via the Wisconsin Telecommunicator Emergency Response Task Force Facebook page or via email, which we'll share at the end of this training segment.
So let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about ICS forms. I know some of you have taken some ICS trainings and they were wonderful. So we're going to talk about the forms. They didn't go away. They can be found at the FEMA website or the Emergency Management Institute. This website I have it here. You can click on them for fillable forms, or you can even have them just printed and ready, which I might recommend.
They also have great instructions and examples on there as well.
This is just a small snip of all the forms available. And when Sarah mentioned the instructions, when you open one of these forms, it's going to show you the form. It'll show you the instructions. You can fill it out in here or keep a bunch of copies so that you have them readily available. Like we mentioned, they're online, available to fill out on the computer. However, are you prepared for if the internet goes down? Or if you're deployed in the command post? What happens during those CAD upgrades?
Yeah.
They happen to Sarah all the time on third shift.
Yeah.
All the time. So we're going to start off with a couple of common forms that you could use readily.
I'd also like to add that I don't know if any of you had a chance to participate in one of our annual SimCom exercises. It's a large-scale interoperability exercise statewide where members from local, state governments, the military all get together and basically practice a critical incident and getting everything set up to be able to communicate with each other. And that really mimics what we could potentially be doing on a deployment for WI-TERT. So I highly recommend, if you haven't attended one in the past, that you look into it, and we'll definitely send out the information when it's available to us.
As well as keep an eye on the Facebook page, because I'm sure we'll share it on our Facebook page as well.
Absolutely.
So one of the first forms we're going to talk about is called the activity log. This is ICS 214. This can be used for a small or even a large incident. This is also can be used for if your CAD goes down. You can just write down information, or if you know your CAD's going to go down, you can write down information so that you have it readily available as your CAD screen so that you can keep track of everything that's going on. We all have watches. You can still write the date and time down every time something happens. Just think of it as a large piece of paper that's going to help you keep track of things. This is 214A. This is a very generic form of 214. It looks like a big sheet of paper for you to keep track of things. This does come in extremely handy when CAD goes down or all of a sudden you're working with nothing, which happens.
It's a pretty good catch-all note-taking form. In order for things to be FEMA reimbursable during any critical incidents, they do like everything to be documented. So if you're not really sure where something should go, I would suggest tossing it on one of these forms.
Write it down. You got it. You can always find it. So here's an example of the form that has been filled out. So as well as you saw where you can find the blank ones, you can go on the internet and find examples of forms that are filled out. Don't worry if you're filling it out wrong. If it's documented somewhere, it's documented. But there's a bunch of examples of these separate forms that are already filled out so you can look and see, oh, okay, this is how this goes. The next one we're going to talk about, ICS Form 213. This is a general message. This is like taking a phone call for somebody and you're putting it off to the side until you see them. The only difference here is you might actually use this on a deployment. So here's an example of a message that was sent to the evacuation shelter manager from the supply manager. Just like a text message, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a reply. And here's what the reply was like, okay, this is what we need. This is what we are. When you're out on a deployment, there's going to be some people that are going to be arriving and they're not going to know what to do. What should you look like for that? When you arrive, the big green light, command post,
Yeah.
go to the green light. Somebody will be there. If there's somebody that's looking for something and you need to send this message, real quickly say, I need you to take this message to that person over there. When they get there, they're going to say, wait, they're going to write the reply. Why don't you take it back to that person you got it from?
Yeah.
It's very easy. It's just like a phone message.
They're nice because they can be emailed, or they can just be handwritten, and then delivered to a runner to go from one location to the next in the event that internet's down or something like that.
Some agencies pay to have these forms in 3-ply. Some agencies just print them off on regular paper because it's cheaper. So they're out there, just print them off so you guys have them readily available. So I'm Brenda.
I'm Sarah.
You guys have a great night.
Visit us on Facebook.